Good. I don't know what to call this instead of evening. Because it's just 2 o'clock in the day. Usually it'd be 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. So I don't know about good evening. But hello everyone. Good afternoon, I suppose is the way to phrase it. No, first time in Dockey's years probably since we were live in the afternoon. But sure, look, we're here now. A, a bit back because it is a bit bright. 'Cause again, it's not sunny, but it's very bright. As you can see there behind me, it's extremely bright. So a bit to talk about actually. Let me see. Yeah, a bit to talk about. I just trick around for a second at something here. There probably won't be that many people in here today. Because I didn't put up a time. I didn't think it'd be live this early. I have a few things on later on this evening. So that's basically why. And I was going to leave it maybe today, but I was like, I probably should go live, especially with what happened yesterday down in Galway, etc., and a few other things, because obviously it wasn't live Wednesday. I have to start getting into the rhythm of things again. It's been a bit too late the last while. But we see what happens, and we'll go for an hour and a bit probably, because there's a good bit to discuss in terms of other stuff too. All going well, obviously, of course. Let me see. I have that charge right here. Do we need to charge my phone or anything? No, it's fine. We'll give it a few minutes anyway to get people in. Sorry, give me that. Just double checking something when I'm here. See my wife and saying this now. There's no update on that now, but okay. Excuse me, so I'm doing weird noises. Sorry, give me a moment. No, that's all fine. I'm just double checking for updates on different things. Yeah, nobody probably be here today, but I talk about it anyway, so and stuff here. Because again, I would be busy later on. I know people probably be used to me going live at 8 or 7 or 9 o'clock. That'd be around the time. But unfortunately, if we were going to go live later on, the thing about it is that it would be probably only half an hour. So at least in this way, if we were early. No, not early. If we were doing it early in the day, we could be live for a bit longer. So all going well. I can't wait to get this wall painted and stuff and all that because I hate the thumbtacks on it from the old map that used to be there. It is a hard nuisance of a thing. We'll give it another minute then, and then we start. Because usually give it 5 minutes because notifications and stuff. I don't even know the notifications come out yet. It's a weird system, YouTube. And especially when I didn't put it out on the community post that was going live. It's kind of my own fault in that way. Hello, Tony. How are we doing this Saturday day? Saturday evening. Saturday, not evening, sorry. Saturday afternoon. It's the first time in a long time we're live in the afternoon. But see, I have a few things on later on, and that's the heel of the hunt of it. That's why we're here at the moment. So that's just there's loads of people wondering. A lot of people wouldn't be taking now will be live at this time. Maybe at 6 or so, from 6 onwards to 5 even. But I don't think they'll be taking at 2 o'clock now. Especially again, it's my own fault I didn't put it out. To be totally honest, on holiday, it was just some holiday going to Cavan for holiday. I hope they enjoyed anyway, wherever they were in Cavan, or whatever they were doing. Hope they enjoyed it anyway. I suppose it's a day out. Let's put that way. What way is it? The sleep always shoot down, Betty Connor. Hi, Jesus. Oh, that's good. They had a nice meal and stuff, I presume, around that. They enjoyed the down there, I say. Well, that's good. So suppose we'll get started, I suppose. Give me a second. Well, man, what are we starting with? Sorry, there's that many tabs open. Is this the tab? Just so I double check here. This okay. Right, you should be able to see everything. I know there was an issue with it last week at one stage, but you can see my screen now. They went to Mullen. Then they went to Mullen. Jeez, they got sick of Gowden and said, fuck this, to go to Mullen. There's even less in Mullen. See? So, but unfortunately, I'm sure people have heard this news. The chaplain, I suppose you could say a priest in the Defence Force. He isn't a member of the Defence Force, as you can see with the uniform. But he's a chaplain in the Defence Force. Usually armies have chaplains. In Russia and other countries, they've Orthodox priests, etc., in the army. Like they're part of the Defence Force. Obviously, they don't carry a gun, etc., But they would go along with the Defence Force if they were going abroad, taking separate chaplains. And unfortunately, somebody went. This was in where was it, Galway. I suppose we'll get into it all. There's a lot to talk about. But basically, this man, he's not even a man. He's only a teenager, 16. Went and stabbed this priest just at the gate to the army barracks. No, I don't know why he did it. To be totally honest, I know the saying about him being radicalized, etc., But thankfully, the Father Murphy is doing well. He's recovering well. He's not that badly injured, thanks for the God, but obviously it's going to take a while to recover. Obviously, but we wish him the best, swift recovery. So the dude tickets. He was motivated by terrorism. He was radicalized by radical Islam, etc., So that's what they take the government and all the Sinn O'Connor. So that's what they take this fellow, because he's only 16. He's not even an adult. He went and stabbed this priest 3 or 4. Well, not stabbed. He slashed them more. He didn't really stab him, but it was kind of slash them. I don't know what your phrase is, slashing or stabbing, but basically, you could say stabbing, I suppose, too. But so obviously he was radicalized. He's the same as Lisa Smith, if you remember. She left the Defence Forces to go and join ISIS. So it's basically one of these people that's radicalized by radical Islam online. Now, we don't know, they say he's an Irish national, but modern day words, apparently somebody that turned up from Ethiopia for 5 minutes is an Irish national. So it's hard to know if he is an Irish national. He could be, he might not be, we don't know. there's no photos. Obviously, being 16, we've seen in England what happened recently with the stabbing. At least the judge released said the name should be released. In Ireland, that's not going to happen. They're not going to do it. They're not going to. We're never going to probably know who it was, what did they look like, etc., etc. They're not going to do it. And especially because now it's all dumped down the memory hole. You heard a bit of this, yes. The Irish Times never say another word about it. But the stabbing outside this army barracks, there were shots fired by members. I don't know who were the military police or were by soldiers, only soldiers. You can see in an army barracks grounds, only Joe's on the again. This man wouldn't have been armed because obviously he's not a soldier, he's a chaplain, exactly. But he wouldn't have been armed in general, obviously, too, because obviously only soldiers in the Irish army who go around an army base, etc., don't have guns with them because they're all kind of secured and locked up. So the only person that there was one shot, they didn't shoot the person who was stabbing the chaplain. So I presume it was the military police that had handguns, etc., etc. You often see the military police outside government buildings, etc., etc. So I presume they were the people who fired the warning shots at the person who was stabbing him. So that must have been the first time in years that the Irish army discharged their weapons. I mean, did not discharge their weapons, but in anger, I suppose they did shoot a few cows, or what were they? Cows, yeah, in Kerry a few years ago. They had rabies or something like that. But it's the first time probably in years that the Irish army fired a shot, probably in anger, at a person. Now, I don't know, do they mean to hit the fellow or do they mean to injure him or what was the story? Who knows? I suppose that all come out in good time. I think that's just a notification now. Yeah, that's just a notification literally now gone out. But I suppose we won't know yet. But obviously, it's very shocking that this can happen too. I think this was at night, 10 o'clock at night. But the fact of the matter, because there's a picture, I don't know if it's here. It doesn't show it here, but there's a picture on. I get later on, Chris. There's a picture that shows the gate of the army barracks, and the gate, and obviously the chaplain was in the car and he was coming out. So I don't know how the fellow got, even in the gate, because it is an army facility. You can't. No only member of the public can walk in an army ground. Because I remember when the army barracks was in Cavan. I went on the tour when I was very young of it when I was there. It must be before 2008, anyway, when I was in national school, we went on a tour. And I even remember too when I went by, because it was when I was younger too, we went by in the car, etc. So there was always military police at the gate, 2 or 3 military police at the gate, armed with a gun, with a handgun. So I presume that was the same here, that there was some kind of military police at the gate, because I presume they just don't have a gate unguarded. Because again, it'd be the military police that's responsible for making sure nobody trespasses army property and army grounds. It's not really the only soldier, it's the military police that has the role to play in this. But obviously, they tamed the fellow before you could do any other harm to anybody else. So supposedly, hello there, Fiona. I mean to apologize here because I actually forgot about your birthday. I only thought about it yesterday. And it was too late then to pull up the video. Like, I wouldn't even mind, but I even put it down on my calendar, on my phone. And for whatever reason, I don't know how I forgot about it. I only thought about it yesterday at around 3 o'clock. And I was literally kicking myself. Because I'm sorry for forgetting about it. Because I don't know how I forgot about it. I genuinely don't know how I forgot about it. But my apologies for forgetting about it. I probably should have put it up yesterday anyway. But it was a bit late and I felt a bit stupid for doing it. So my extreme apologies for that, because it's my fault for forgetting about it. I don't know how it didn't pop up on my phone. That's the thing. It didn't pop up on my phone. And I only remembered about it. I don't know how I came about to remember it yesterday. But I was sitting here doing something and I just thought about it. But I hope you had a good day Thursday anyway. even though I forgot about it. So thank you, because I generally don't know, because I went out of my way to put it on the calendar for me to remember that Thursday to do a video, and I don't know. But as long as I had a good day, that was the main thing, apart from me forgetting. But I don't know how I forgot about it, but it just goes to show you that I'm a bit not with it these days. I'm like Joe Biden. But yeah, so apparently this fellow was radicalized by radical Islam, etc., etc. So the same as Willie Lisa Smith. Now, I don't know how that translates into stabbing the priest and stabbing a member of the Irish Defence Forces. I don't know how that translates, because allegedly what he said is that he's opposed to the Irish Army in the Middle East. And I'm just like, what? Like, the Irish Army are there peacekeeping in the Middle East, in the Golden Heights, etc., etc. And, what are the really... I don't get it, because the Irish Army are not going over shooting people, etc., etc. So I don't get what was he going with that. It's more the United States he probably should be taking it up with, or the British Army, etc., etc. Because again, they're funding the Israelis, etc., etc. If there's an issue with that, that's up to him to take it up to the United States or the British Army. So I don't know why. How do you justify it in his head that, it doesn't make any sense, especially a chaplain to a chaplain. Majority of the cases, they're not harmed. Obviously, when they go abroad, they'll probably do it in a battle. When in a battlefield situation, they probably would have arms. But apart from that, in peacekeeping and stuff, they wouldn't be harmed. They'd be like medics. They wouldn't be. They'd be protected under the Geneva Convention, etc., etc. So we don't know. They say he's an Irish national, but again, that could mean anything. So who knows? But he seemed to be radicalized. He probably is the same as Lisa Smith, if you remember. She was radicalized online by radical Islam, etc., etc. And it probably is a young Irish lad, because he's only 16. Remember, he's not even. We never will know his name probably, because they never will release. They never release a photo unless the judge says. I don't know, but he says about the Middle East. That's what allegedly he said. Because again, the Gardaí investigating terror motive. Like the Special Detective Branch, which usually goes after you and me for posting things online that they disagree with, so it's hard to see, it's hard to know, and especially because Ireland's peacekeeping in Lebanon at the moment. Peacekeeping, it's not occupation or anything like that, or assisting the Israelis or anything like that. The Irish Army is not doing anything like that. So I don't get it. Maybe it was just, it's hard to know what was going through his head. And I suppose we never will know. We have to wait and see, I suppose. But as far as I can get, we talk about it later on more. Actually, I get the thing out. But as far as I can tell, and as far as the Gardaí can tell, I suppose, at the moment, that he was radicalized online, etc., etc. And I probably do agree with that, because I don't know. It's all very confusing between. Like, I don't know what was going through his head. That's something to say. So this is from the British broadcasting, BBC. I don't know. Was he just looking for? I think he was in uniform. We don't know that was in uniform. The chaplain, or was he just directly going for the chaplain? Yeah, he's not going to have the direct electric picnic. It's not that great of weather, and not even that. It's kind of all miserable. But this is on the British Broadcasting Company. So the Defence Forces, this must be the military police that were on duty. Because again, this is where it happens. So you see the gate. This is the army barracks here, the gate. The priest, the chaplain was in the car. This is the car over here. So he walked into the army barracks. So where was anybody? Like, I don't know if that's military police. I would say MP on the side. But I even went the army barracks was in Cavan back before it closed, and I went on a tour of it when we were in national school. At the gate, there was always a military police, because obviously you no only Joe can walk into the army barracks, any army barracks in whatever country, because it's a military facility. It's citizens, only Joe shouldn't be in a military facility. So I even remember when we were on the bus going into the military barracks when it was there in the town before they closed it, that the military police were there, and they obviously do have guns. If you were in Leinster House or the government buildings, you see the military police, they have handguns. So presume that's who fired the warning shots, is the military police. That the soldiers on duty, that's what they mean, the military police. Because again, the military police are responsible for detaining anybody inside the army barracks. And then obviously armed support came and all that. But I don't think it was soldiers on duty because, the only soldier, this like soldier here, take for example, I don't know if it doesn't say MP or anything, maybe he is. But like an only Joe that's on an army barracks, if he's dressed in this uniform, he doesn't go around with a rifle, etc., etc., because they're all locked away. They don't go around with active shooting gear on, rifles, etc., etc. Yeah, no, but I'm saying that's probably who fired the warning shots. It's a pity they didn't shoot the fellow, done it. Like I will say that, especially because if it's a terrorist motivated thing, he probably should have been. Because in other countries they would have just shot him dead. It's about that, and that's just putting it straight out. But that's what should happen if you go into a military facility and do something like that. You should be really neutralized and stuff like that. And I know that's a tough word to use, but especially if you go and start stabbing people, and especially I don't know what the motivation was. He just looking for anybody to stab, or what was he going to do? Because again, the fact of the matter is, he could have just stabbed this priest and then stabbed somebody else and then stabbed somebody else. So he probably should have been shot dead, to be totally honest, in this instant. To be totally honest, because again, he was actively looking for trouble. To be totally honest, because in the majority of other countries, he would have been just killed. As simple as that. I know that sounds very harsh too. I'm just thinking back on it, but yeah, the priest is in his 50s. So they're saying it's also looking into a terror motivated line of inquiry. So this special detective unit, just to say, this is the people that's supposed to be going after terrorists and terrorist suspects, etc. Monitoring them. They're too busy worrying about what people post online. They're too busy worrying about if you misgender somebody. That's the main worry. And these people just let one free around the country. Because presumably, if they look into his phone or they look into any laptop into that, he probably has radical documents relating to Islam and relating to ISIS, etc., etc. Who knows? But what I'm trying to say is, where were they? Were they asleep? That's really it. But I presume, again, this is probably the first time, just to say it too, it's the first time in years probably that the Defence Forces have fired the shot. I can only remember the Defence Forces fired the shot in anger. Now, we don't know what was the warning shot. I presume they were trying to shoot him because, again, he was trespassing on the ground and just literally stabbed somebody. So I don't know whether they just fire a warning shot. I don't know. But I presume it was the military police. I would like to know who it was. Was it the only soldier that had a wife, or was it one of the military police? So that was that. But he seems to be not in bad shape, which is a plus. So I just don't know if that's the military police or what, because he usually would say MP and stuff like that, and we have a side down there. So I suppose we move on from there. So this yoke, basically, and this other yoke, basically, he's the same. We should go out. We should get the lockdowns out. Basically, the WHO, the people that's won by China, basically. Saying we should lock the world out, basically, and have another thing coming if they think of that. But basically, fear mongering. The media are just loving it at the moment. They're just fear mongering. You see this professor; he's coming out with everything. He wants another lockdown. He wants everybody to get everything. So everybody should be hiding underneath the mattresses, basically. So very nice fellow, isn't he? But long story short, is probably another lockdown coming within the next 10 months, basically. We'll see what happens. Majority of people won't accept it. I don't think we should accept it because, I can't say much on YouTube, but, But I presume there was somebody at the gate anyway, just going back to that. How long am I here? Half an hour. So this is related to the school transport now for buses, etc., etc. Um, so Deputy Neve Smith has said there needs to be a complete overhaul in the school transport, which is true. I agree with this. There should be a direct minister appointed to the Minister for State for school transport should be appointed, which is true because you do need somebody because the fellow that's over it at the moment, well, not even the fellow, I misgender in the post, and Norma Foley is a complete buffoon and doesn't understand anything. So you would need somebody that has a bit of brains to be the minister over school transport because obviously Norma Foley is just incompetent as the days long. So this comes after this incident. Had lost 30 seats. Basically, this 30 seat thing, nobody, the bus airline has basically never said anything about it yet. These people, these 20 seats have just disappeared, gone, nowhere to be found. So I do. There should be like a minister over school transport directly, because this issue here, especially because there was 20 seats that just seemed to disappear for whatever reason. So they're planning to protest these children, and along with the parents, they're planning to walk to school, which is a long way away. Some of these children have to go kilometers and kilometers and kilometers away just to prove a point. But it's the fact of the matter is, this shouldn't be happening in the first place. Let's put it that way in a modern first world country. And especially because it's supposed to be free school bus tickets now. Basically, these children could get on it for nothing and don't have to pay a penny. It's the fact of the matter is it's far too late really now because we're nearly, as you see, August the 17th now. September, the majority of secondary schools and stuff go back. Nothing's really going to be probably sorted between now and then. And that's just the thing. We should see what happens, but long story short, this should never happen because I experienced it before. I was on it for years, the school bus here. And then all of a sudden, the last year, the leaving cert year, didn't get a ticket, or etc., etc. But at the end of the heel of the hut, they got onto it eventually. But yeah, it was a lot of bullshit to get onto it. So that's what happened. But obviously, yeah, and especially as this woman said before, it would cost just 2 children. It would cost nearly €3,000 for the year to put the 2 children on a private bus, like a floods bus, private company, not a CIE bus. So she'd be out €3,000 if she was going to put them on a private bus, which she shouldn't be out because the government have said, oh, all children could go free in the buses. But, the government. So, but yeah, unfortunately, I don't think anything can be sorted between now and September. Like the only reason why, like I talked about this before any of the TDs and councillors ever mentioned about it, that I was surprised that 20 seats can just disappear into the abyss. And all the other councillors, I don't know where they were, the TDs, they're all coming out of the woodwork now to talk about it. I don't know. So the EU has fined Hungary. So basically, 1 million a day for not opening the borders. So obviously, Hungary doesn't want to open their borders and they have every right because they're a sovereign country, the same as any country. They shouldn't have to be told by the European Union when to open the borders, when to do this and that. They shouldn't be dominated and told what to do and how to do it. So the EU has fined 200 and something million, refusing to open the borders because obviously they're not letting Tom, Dick, and Harry into their country. Which I agree with, because again, there should be controlled borders, etc. Maybe not completely closed, but controlled, very regulated, etc., etc. But it's the fact of the matter, the EU should really have no say in it, because again, Hungary is its own country; it's not up to. And it's the same in Ireland, it's the same of any country. It's their own country. It's up to them to control the one border. If they want to have heavy regulations or whatever on the borders, they're entitled to do that. But it's the fact of the matter, this is bully boy tactics to try and get them to open the border and overrun them with people. And that's what's happening. Because we see what's happening here. People are just coming in droves. And the Irish government just accepted that they're not willing to stand up and say to the European Union, fuck you. And you see Hungary is willing to do that and probably won't pay them. Because again, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? if they don't pay 200 million. Um, so we see what happens there. But long story short, I should be doing this too. Because at the end of the day, what are the European going to do if you don't pay it? They're going to kick you out of it. Now, this yoke, I don't even know what you call a yoke, but you know, yeah, we're not going to look at the comments because nobody seems to be very happy about looking at the replies, compared to the likes. That's just goes to show you that people are not very pleased. But long story short, I think Fianna Fáil are trying to blow themselves up, like literally, literally. This person is the worst minister. Like, it's fair to say, like, there's been a very few bad ministers for education, but this person has been the worst minister in the history of the state for education, and that tells you something you need to know, because nobody can find her. She's nowhere to be found. Like, I don't know where they found her to give her the nomination, because nobody can find her. Like, she's nowhere to be found. This situation in Cavan, she's nowhere to be found. Nobody can find her. Where is she? Nobody. I haven't seen her in about 2 years. She's just disappeared, and it's pretty bad. They're down bad. So at least the good thing about it now is, back when the election happened last time in 2020, a lot of pro-life people voted for number 40 because they thought she was pro-life. And that's how she got really in, that a lot of pro-life people voted for number 40 in Kerry. Hopefully they learn from the mistake and don't, because again, she just wants abortions every day of the week, basically. Like the factories. Because again, I think she's just an anarchist, to be totally honest. I don't think she's a globalist, but I think she's just an anarchist. It doesn't just wants to destroy everybody. Like, look at this. Like, let's put that straight. I don't know what's wrong with it. I generally think she's probably over fighting the true Finns, etc., and what they're doing. Because to be totally honest, it seems like what she's doing is fighting the true Finns at the moment, because it's completely bogus what they're doing, and obviously this one is not much better. But they're down bad in Kerry, that they have nobody else to put up on number 40. So hopefully she lose her seat. Hopefully, fingers crossed, because nobody likes him. Let's put it straight. And she's done nothing. She's good for nothing, basically. Long story short. I know that's very, very vulgar, but it's good for nothing. So this landlord, that's a big landlord, that's a few properties, tried to evict the tenant. They're 92 years old. A woman of 92 years old, he wanted the fuck out onto the street because she went and challenged that he was going to increase the rent monthly by 90 euro, nearly 200 euro of an increase in the monthly rent. And now this woman, I looked into it, she's on the old age pension, which isn't good, because again, she's on the old age pension, 200 or so euro a week. They should name him, like, apparently he is, because I've looked into it. The article doesn't mention him. They should name him because it's very shameful. Because again, she's paying her rent. She's never missed a day's rent in her life. She's one of them old type of people that always paid the rent on time. And it's the fact of the matter, she argued when she challenged this, as she has every right to do, the increase. Especially being a woman in 92 that only is on the old age pension, that doesn't have much money at the end of the week. It's on 200 and something a week. And it's already a tick. It was already nearly 100 and something, or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but it was a lot. It was 100 and nearly 170, 180, something like that. And they wanted to increase. It would have been 200 and something a month, which doesn't sound much, but particularly for a person that's on the old age pension that worked all their life, and then especially this tried to evict it, it's very scummy. Because again, the fact of the matter that she's actually paying, she's never missed a day's rent, etc., and he's just being greedy, looking for more money. Now, I suggested this person said he could house the refugees. There's those Ukrainian contracts out there that you get tax-free. If you house a refugee from Ukraine, you get 14,000 tax-free, etc., etc. The government pay you to house them. So maybe that's what he wants to do. He wants to try and force her out so he can bring in a few Ukrainians and get a few extra bob, basically. Because these landlords, again, probably Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael people. So thankfully, this didn't happen. They didn't kick her out. But thankfully she's still there. But it's the fact that a woman in 92 had to go through this. It shouldn't be accepted in society that she had to go through this and had to put up with this and fix, being forced out. Again, the fact of the matter is, if she was kicked out by this like landlord, where can she go? For a 92-year-old woman, there's not much place for a woman of that age to go, and not even that. There's no place in general to rent the house, especially because if she was kicked out, um, she could be paying 900 a month, 1,000 a month to live in a house. It'd be insane, and it wouldn't be fair. And it just goes to show you, it's just pure greed. And that's all it is. It's just pure greed. And taking the fact that you're a woman that's always been upfront and genuine. And that's what it is. And this landlord should really be named and shamed. It should probably be totally honest, he shouldn't be a landlord because there's not much empathy he has for this woman. Hello, Gordon. How are you? Yeah, I know, but that's just landlord's way. But thankfully, she's there. But again, the fact of the matter that he was very scummy, wanting to try and evict him. But see, what are the house Ukrainians? Because there's government contracts out there that if you house the Ukrainian now in the morning, if I rented out my room to the Ukrainian on this government schemes, etc., you get 14,000 tax free. You pay nothing. You have to pay no tax. You get that 14,000 cash in hand. Here you go. You know. That's what they want. They want the house Ukrainians because there's huge money there for it. For the ordinary Irish person, there's no such thing. Like, you don't see the government saying, if you house an Irish elderly woman, we're going to give the landlord 15,000 tax free. There's no such thing. It doesn't exist. It's only for Ukrainians and the refugees. You know. Yeah, it's going good. It's 2 o'clock. It's 2:30 now here. I know we're very early. I'm a bit busy later on, so that's why I went early. But it's not been too bad. Not much has been going on today. A good bit this evening, but not much. So I want to talk about this too. So this has been going on for three weeks now. This supply thing. So there's loads of nutrient in the water. So you can't really drink it. You can't really boil it either. So this is in the Red Hills and Ballyhills area of Cavan. So it's not really safe to drink or to boil. Uh, so this, what I'm trying to say, I know it's a difficult issue. I've talked to a few people that's over it, that does water schemes and things like this, like there's works with water, and it's a difficult issue to fix. I understand that. I get that. I don't think that I'm being ignorant to the problem, but it's the fact of the matter that it's a first world country. It shouldn't really be an issue in a first world country. But this is happening all the time, every day, nearly every month. Some part of Cavan has a problem with this, problem with that, problem with the other. And it's to do with lack of investment too in the water infrastructure. Even though they wanted people to pay for Irish water a few years back, but even though the country's there's that many lakes and there's that many, it literally rains here every day of the week nearly. So it's very stupid that. But long story short, uh, it is a hard issue to fix. So we meant that I'm not going to be ignorant to people and say it could be solved in 5 minutes. But it's the fact of the matter is the public shouldn't have to go through this. It should be the best as possibly can be. But yeah, long story short, hopefully it'll be fixed sooner rather than later. They say it's going to take another week. It could take another week. That's what I have heard. I can't confirm that, but that's what I've heard rumors about it, that it could take another week. Maybe. We don't know. We'll wait and see. But hopefully sooner rather than later, because again, it's a shame that people can't just drink the water of the tap or use it to make food, etc., etc. That they have to go and trick about to get water, etc., etc. Hello, Evan. Yeah, I've heard of the president of Finland, what's been going on. Um, I've heard a bit about it, but uh, I don't know much about it. I've heard that he said stuff about it, but I haven't heard too much. Um, because as I said to you before, it's a weird situation. The president's because obviously in Ireland, Michael Higgins can't really say anything like that because he's not the minister over anything. Like the president in Finland has a role as he has a role in foreign affairs basically. So but yeah, so Russia's probably getting a bit of taste of the warm medicine, which is not, you know, I suppose it's hitting them back in the face a bit. It's 9 o'clock. Yeah, it would be around that time where you are. Yeah. No, it's not me. It's not in my area, but I'm just saying that's what they're doing there. Even them boiling it, even they say not to boil it too, because it is hazardous. Like there's a lot of chemicals in it that shouldn't be in it at the moment. It's very dangerous. It's dangerous. It can cause sickness and stuff like that. And it's the fact that it's taken so long for it to happen. That's what's happening. It's not happening here, but it's the fact of the matter is the people shouldn't have to go through it. That's my point. The only Irish Joe shouldn't have to go out of the way to buy loads of water, etc., etc. In it, it shouldn't be the case. As I say in Finland, when I was there, you could drink the tap water, you could do whatever because it's coming directly from a spring, basically outside Helsinki, literally a spring from underneath the ground. So, yeah, I completely forgot to shout about birthday. I only thought about it yesterday evening, would you believe? I don't know how I forgot about it because it was up on my phone. I had it on my calendar on my phone. It didn't pop up for whatever reason. It didn't pop up, but who knows? I don't get it. But anyway, but you know, um, you know, yeah, like it was my fault for that. I don't know how I forgot. Like how I forgot about it. See, I haven't been taking that much. Like I think I've been a bit forgetful now the last few months, to be totally honest. Um, because I forgot a few things nowadays. I'm getting a bit like Joe Biden. Joe Biden. Oh, Biden. Wake up, Joe. I suppose we'll go to this for the moment. So this is to do with second-hand houses. So there's been a 75% drop in second-hand houses. So basically for people to rent, etc., and cabs, which is a lot. 75% of a drop is a lot. So basically it's very hard to buy a second-hand house. So say for you're selling this selling this house, excuse me, or you're renting it. Well, there's been a 75% drop. So say you're selling this house, basically it's nearly dry. The put it straight. It's just insane to see this. Where is that? Like, look at this. This is the next thing. The Irish population grew and expected to grow. So basically, what they're saying in this article, for the Irish population growth, people have to live somewhere. The homes are not being built in time, basically. So there's too many people coming into the country, basically, because it's not by natural growth, etc., People, even though it's not the Ireland's birth rate isn't that high. It's not extremely high, etc., But long story short, it's all these people coming into the country. They have to live somewhere. So basically, the houses can't be built quick enough. So basically, at the end of the day, what that means is prices are still going to be high, and you're still going to pay a fortune to buy a house or even to rent the house. Because at the end of the day, there's too many people wanting to buy it. There's too many people coming into the country, and obviously they're going to want to buy a house or rent the house, and there's huge pressures. And obviously, when there's huge demand, the prices go up. And that's just the thing. And it's again, the Irish government want it in a way because a lot of them are landlords and a lot of them have interests in development companies, etc. So basically, they're beneficiary of it. So basically, what this means is the media finally have acknowledged this. There's too many people coming in. As it says here, 3.8 people added to the population for every new one unit of the house. So basically, what this means is the housing situation will never catch up if things keep going the way they are. People would say, "Oh, this is far right racism, etc." But it's the fact of the matter that it is reality. You can't build houses like fucking in 5 minutes. It takes time, and it's the fact of the matter there's just been a huge lack of houses for the last 20 years, social houses, etc. It will never be able to catch up, and people just keep coming in their droves, basically, and that's just the straight truth. And the Irish government know this. They're not stupid. They know what they're doing. But the fact of the matter is not fair on the only Irish Joe that this has to happen. And it just goes to show you that we can't be literally taken in the world. We can't house the world, and it's simple as that. And it's only the truth. I know people say that's far right, racism, etc. But it is the truth. Nobody can lie and say it isn't the truth because this is literally it. And it's plain to be seen that you literally cannot do it. It's because no country really could do it, especially the huge lack already. And then the fact you bring in thousands of people, like at the moment, there's something like 700, 800 people coming into the state seeking asylum. It's too many, far too many people to bring in. And especially because there's already a big issue at the moment. There's far too many. Like, I don't know how we coped it when there was 8 million people on the island of Ireland. I don't know how we did it, but, we're not coping at the moment, basically. Long story short. What is this? I complained to him already. If Santa, he will remember the course. Oh, you got the flu. Yeah, it's been very hot now. There was thunder and lightning here Sunday. Now it's pretty bad. At one stage, there was a bang. Right, my bed isn't that far away from the window, and literally I was nearly deafened on this ear from one of the bangs because it was that loud. Like, I literally, the way. How do you describe it? The way you can hear ringing and stuff like that. You just kind of go deaf for a second. You hear loads of ringing and stuff in your ears. That's what happened with one of the bangs from the thunder. So it must have been an almighty, because it was literally over the house, basically. So it must have been just an almighty bang that literally deafened me for a few minutes. You know. But no, it was from a bang, because I've heard the bang and I've seen the big flash going across the house, because there was a big, huge. I could see it from the window. I had the blinds up, and I could see the thunder just running across. Yeah, take a rest. Jeez, don't be overdoing it, because I remember oftentimes I had the flu, and I would try and batter on and try and push forward, etc., etc. And it would only get worse. I remember one time I went to school, I had a bad dose of the flu, and I was sneezing and coughing 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Right, like when I get the flu and I start coughing, I just don't shut up. It's very bad. I nearly choke. Very bad. I get the cough particularly. So I remember I went to school. I thought it was better, and I went to school and I started coughing like fuck, and I got worse basically. So I had a relapse basically of the flu, because I thought I got better, and I got worse after that. That was a few years ago, but basically, long story short, just try and relax a bit, and because it could get worse from there, and it's better to let it kind of die off a bit. Yeah, drink loads of water. That's the best thing you can do too. That's what I would recommend. Drink as much water as you can, especially if you have the flu. That's what you need to do. But I'm sure you're doing that anyway. But you're getting there anyway. You're starting to recover now. And like, it does take a while to recover from the flu, especially if you get a bad dose of it. So also to do with the festivals, then we talked about the stabbing. So the army has fallen below 6,000 for the first time in its history. So even after the Civil War, the Irish Army was the Irish Free State Army at the time. So they were demobilizing, etc., etc. But there was always a standard that there needed to be a certain number in the army. And this is the first time ever it's fallen below 6,000 in the history of the state, just to say. That's just to show you how bad it is. The strength of the army, for the first time in living memory in the Irish history of the state, has fallen below. Basically, it should be 7,000. The minimum, the absolute minimum for it should be, is 7,000. As you see, we're lacking. It's just about 6,000 up and now. So at minimum, we're lacking 1,500, because what it should be higher. Obviously, it should be 15 to 20,000. It should be, but it's the fact of the matter that it's literally the lowest ever, because there's always a standard that was set after the Civil War. There should be always a standard army of that size. And then during the Second World War, obviously the army increased, etc. So, but there's always a standard that the army should be of that size at most. Oh, a bit higher. I remember when the army was 12,000 back in the day. Like, the army was 12,000. A long way from 12,000, isn't it? The army was 12,000 in 2010 or so. It was 12,000 something. And again, when you see it's more than 900 Irish people have joined the British Army, that's just good to show you. And the reason why they joined the British Army is better pay and better conditions. Which is insane, too, because again, these 900 people could have joined the Irish Army if the pay and conditions were good, basically. And now all they're saying is that a all-time low, too. That there used to be more people joining the British Army, too. But still, 900 are better off in the Irish Defence Forces than in the British Army. So since 2050, it's always on a downhill spiral. Um, so yeah, since 2015, we're lacking 2,000 people basically. So, and the fact of the matter is, um, so as you see the strength of the army, so 6,136. So it should be around 7,000 something. And obviously the navy should be higher than this, but it's and as you see here, a total of 758 have left the defence forces last year due to forced retirement age, medical grounds, etc. And people just were signing, mainly as this one article I was reading, it's was signing. People were signing like fuck, they're sick of the army and just giving up and going to work. And like people have literally left to work in Tesco. That goes to show you how bad it is. Not even the people retiring like an old age grounds or medical grounds. There's more resignations. Majority of that, probably 400 or 500 of that, is resignations. And it's insane. Especially when you see that a total of 700, nearly 800 people left the defence forces last year. And last year, guess how many joined? So 800 say left, give or take. Only 415 recruits were brought in. So basically, still, you're lacking 400. So basically, and if this keeps going up, and the year before that, it was even higher. It was something like 900. So it's wet down a bit, but not by much. As you see, it's just a downhill spiral because it can never keep up with the demand, basically. And especially how bad it is now. The roles are that bad. So this is this year. So this is this year now. So in the first 6 months of this year, 333 people left the defence forces, while only 240 were recruited. So just goes to show you. So this is only the beginning of the 6 months of this year, basically. That there are already nearly 400 people have left. That's not even the full year, and only 240 recruited. So you can see the numbers just keep going down and down. That keeps going downhill spiral. So this is the minimum the army should have, nearly 8,000. The Irish, the army, the standing army on the ground, 7,500. So at the moment, 6,100 and something. And obviously the naval service should have 1,000, but at the moment that's not even close. There's 700 only in the naval service, and the air have nearly 900. So you look up here. So the army at the moment 6,100. So the naval service actually is even worse. Sorry, no, actually no. This is the air corps. So 689. So the naval service is nearly worse than the whole outfit. It's just gone. To be totally honest, the naval service. Like it's just it's insane. And just actually when I'm just here, so last week we were very lucky that loads of soldiers wouldn't kill. The Israeli army bombed a Lebanese village, and obviously the Irish army are there on the Golan Heights peacekeeping. So they were very lucky they were in an armored vehicle because the shrapnel of the bomb hit their armored vehicle, etc., etc. So we were very lucky the loads of Irish soldiers wouldn't kill by the Israeli army. To be totally honest, they probably shouldn't be there now. To be totally honest, because it's that dangerous. We don't want any of our soldiers being brought home in coffins. They probably should be pulled out of it, but they won't do it, unfortunately. But 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 the Israelis don't give a shit. Let's put that. Like this was the like 2/3 of its thread. So it's lacking 2/3 of its thread, the Irish Navy, just to say. Like the funniest thing was when they bought these ships from New Zealand. The government to buy 300 million pesos. Well, all the ships in the Irish Navy are tied up. Let's buy more ships. We don't have anything to put on them. We're buying more ships. It's just very funny because there's 9 ships in the Irish Navy, one's at sea. 8 of them are docked up in port, have nobody to man them. So basically, they bought 2 new ships with nobody to put on them, basically, which is very stupid. Let's put it that way. Because why would you buy ships if you have nobody to literally put on the ships that you already have? It doesn't make any sense. But logic, that's when they could literally use that money to pay some soldiers a proper wage. And that's the simple that. The only thing they need is to pay them a proper wage. Yeah, it's going to be soon autumn. Oh yeah, but not even that. It's not even to do with the wokeness in the military. Obviously, that's a different situation altogether. But it's the fact of the matter is the pay and conditions. That's what's affecting people. Because at the end of the day, a lot of the young people who have joined the army, they joined the navy, especially the navy, you're a long time away from home, etc., etc. You're out at sea. Um, you have bills to pay, like you generally do. Like people got more working than Tesco. So why would you go through loads of training, loads of extra, getting up early in the morning? Like these men get up at 5:30 in the morning, have to go for a one around the army base, and have to literally polish their shoes, etc., etc. They have their uniform immaculate. Why would you walk basically for nothing, basically, and to go through all that stuff when you could basically just walk in Tesco and get more money, basically, than walking into the Feds forces, And especially too, as you've seen with Private Sean Rooney, go over to a foreign country on peacekeeping and get killed, you know. Like that's the thing. It's not really wokeness really that's killing the military. It's more we all know what they want. I've said it many times. They want a European army. The Irish government have said it before. They don't want an Irish defence. They don't want anything to do. As Micheál Martin famously said, we want nothing to do with a backwards looking idea of sovereignty. And obviously, being sovereign too is having your own defence forces. Like even when the Anglo-Irish Treaty was signed, and when Ireland became a state, the Irish Free State, um, the one thing that was specified too that Ireland could have, the Irish Free State could have its own army, defence force, to defend itself. So that's the way I see it. Any sovereign nation needs an army to defend itself. Um, you know, but definitely there was some issues, obviously, with some people with the wokeness. Obviously, the wokeness, like as you've seen in the United States, the ad with Emma, it shouldn't have anything to do with It shouldn't have anything to do with the army. Let's put that way. Yeah. Oh, it's not really that should be canon for them at the moment. Because the Irish army isn't that bad of a state that, I think the government know they couldn't put us. Like, I don't think we even be accepted into NATO because it's that bad, the Irish army, because it's literally only on paper at the moment, Um, you probably wouldn't be allowed into NATO, that's as that. But the one thing I would have said, you wouldn't have had, you were probably better off now financially than if you joined the army back then, if that makes any sense. It's more financially people are taking, because again, at the end of the day, you love your country and stuff. You want to serve your country. The people in the defence force, I've known a good few of them, and no veterans and stuff like that. And they love the country. They want to do their best for their country. They want to serve the country as best they can. But it's the fact of the matter, they still have bills to pay. They have children. They have a house to pay. They have a mortgage to pay. At the end of the day, it only goes so far. You have to have a life, basically. Hello, Sean. Good evening. Good afternoon, may I say. That's what I'm saying. But I don't think you'd be cat thought of because, as I say, the Irish army is in no fit state to fight anything. Basically, that's what as the Defence Force's own report last year. I don't know if you remember. They can't even the own Defence Force, the Irish Defence Force themselves, have said that with the resources and the manpower they have at the moment, they can't even defend one county in Ireland. If Ireland was under attack now in the morning, they couldn't defend one county, let alone the whole country. Just to say. So that just goes to put in this perspective. They can't defend one place. They said they couldn't defend Carlow if Ireland was attacked. Just one county, they couldn't do it. So Ireland basically would fall quicker than Denmark in the Second World War, basically. Even though the United Kingdom probably would get involved if somebody attacked us. Because obviously it would be an issue with the United Kingdom, because obviously with the border north, if somebody seized Ireland, Northern Ireland would be threatened, and obviously the United Kingdom would be threatened. Then obviously the United States would probably get involved too. Yeah, it's a sad state of like a lot of veterans would tell you. Like even there's some veterans on the streets in Dublin, you've probably seen them. There's some sleeping outside the GPO, etc., etc. And it's a sad state of affairs. They've given years of service to the country, were abroad, etc., etc., and they're treated like dirt on the street now, and just forgotten about. And it's the same in England. It's the same in the United States. Veterans are just forgotten about. Well, people that you don't even know are brought in and given everything handed to them. Like they were, like to be totally honest, the veterans and stuff, people who served the state in that capacity. If you see with Private Sean Rooney, a young lad got killed over in where was it? It wasn't in Lebanon. That's what you. That's at the end of the day, you're putting your life on the line, basically. It's not a game, basically. It's not like GTA. You can't just respawn. It's life and death, basically. Yeah, like obviously he was radicalized. It's hard to know what was going through his mind. Was he going to just stab anybody? Was he directly looking for the police? What was he trying to do? I suppose we know in time to come, but basically, long story short, as I said earlier on, he should have probably been shot because there was one of shots fired by, I presume, the military police. That's what I presume, but he probably should have been shot, especially if he was a terrorist motivated. He probably should have been shot because in the majority of other countries he would have been shot dead. Um, but I suppose at least he's alive. We can find out what he was doing and what was he thinking. But yeah, I know that sounds probably a bit harsh, but if you're going to do something like that on the military facility, you have to be down to it. It wouldn't be that expensive in England. It wouldn't be that bad, I don't think. Hardly that'd be that bad. If you went to London or something like that, it would be the big cities, London, Manchester, or something like that. Because London's the like you would know in London. Yeah, it would be the same. Like it would be the same as here. It wouldn't be much in the difference. Like if you went to London, you would know the difference. But that's what I would say. Like I'm sure you know yourself. If you went to London, it would be different. But anyway, going on to this. So this is a takeaway in Cavan, very popular. You've probably seen some, maybe the TikToks, etc. I haven't seen them, but I know the often TikToks, etc. So this is a very popular restaurant, a takeaway. It's kind of I don't know what you would call it, Indian kind of takeaway. Um, so basically, so what appears to be an airsoft gun. He points a gun at the cash. He doesn't take any money, but I don't know why he did it. Apparently, this fellow is a raving alcoholic. I've heard of him before. He's come to my attention before on one or two occasions. He has. I know his name. They haven't mentioned him here by name, but I've heard of him before. I know of him. Basically, that's what I haven't. We're in contact with him, but I've heard of him. People have talked to me about him before. So what I've been told and what I've basically been said, this was an airsoft gun. It doesn't look like it was a gun. It was an airsoft gun. As far as I can get, I don't think it's a real gun. But long story short, the arms support, aided his house, etc., etc. So I don't know, but as far as I can get him, I don't know if there's anybody else here. It always looks like it's an airsoft gun or is an airsoft gun. But long story short, why I'm talking about this too, I suppose, at the moment, it's the fact of the matter, the crime in County Cavan, I suppose, as a whole, as we've seen with the man with the machete running around the place, it's not, the law is not coming down hard enough on people like this. Let's put it out. If you post a meme misgendering somebody, they'll be out in force, basically. But long story short, obviously very harsh sentence. Even if it was an airsoft gun, just to cause fear and stuff like that, it should be 5 years at least anyway, in prison. It's the same with the person with the machete, but he only got basically a year. He'd be out soon anyway. But long story short, it's the uphill spiral of crime and stuff. And even, as I said, about people looking for fake donations for charity, that's a big thing. And then obviously drugs too is a huge thing. It's becoming more noticeable in the town, etc., etc. And something really needs to be done about it very soon. And I really mean it has to be use of force basically to try and suppress it in a way, because I don't think the nicey approach is going to do it. So what I gather is that people should, I've said this before many times, people like this fella here should be made do hard physical labor. Like they do in America, breaking stones, etc., etc. That's what they should be able. That's what they should be doing, because if people were doing that, they wouldn't commit crime. They wouldn't have the energy to do these things. As simple as that. Simple as that. So we should look into stuff like that, like harsh punishments. Do you see in America they take prisoners out to clean up the side of motorways, etc., etc.? Should be the case here instead of sitting in prison cells, etc., etc. Like hard physical labor should be the way to go. Because the majority of people who do hard physical labor haven't got the energy to commit any crimes, etc., etc. These people that sit on the dole and have energy to do it. So never go to the land. No, I don't intend to. Yeah, it was not much. There's not much of a difference. Yeah, for a bit cheaper some food. Yeah, you would. You would. I don't think you go to Finland, but unfortunately, how much is an ice cream? May I ask? And 99. Probably you maybe don't want to know. Did you look for an ice cream in 99? Because apparently in London and that part of the United Kingdom, it's boiling at the moment. It's 30-something degrees. So I presume you're up in Lancaster, wasn't it? Up that part of the country. I don't think it'd be that hot. Maybe it's more hot in Cornwall and stuff like that. And, yeah, it wouldn't be much of the difference. Ireland and England wouldn't be much of the difference. The only place to be much difference is London and them big places. Um, it's only when you go up that direction, Norway, and not so much Sweden, maybe, but Denmark and Norway and Finland. Your eyes begin to water a bit when you see the price of stuff. Um, you know. So moving on to Finland for a second. I know you were talking about Alexander Stubbs a few minutes ago, Evan only. So the true Finns in the Wisdom of Wisdom are just going around and deciding to, let's get rid of half of the Gnosis in the country. Now, the one behind me literally said this, that they would do this, that they would fire Gnosis and stuff like that. And the truth, there's not so much the truth Finns as the National Coalition Party said it. During the election campaign, they said that's a claim that would not happen. That's what the current Prime Minister said to Tisana when she said that they would fire Gnosis, etc., etc. And he said that wouldn't happen. See, the translation of it should say she was not right, but it always mixes it up. Like Sana was on the money here, basically, because they literally are proposing to do it. Like literally are. Like it's not a conspiracy theory Sana was coming up with. Like it literally is reality. They're planning to get rid of 1,000 Gnosis. Instead of taking on Gnosis, they're planning to get rid of them because it's time to cut. It's time to cut even more. Let's cut even more. Can we cut even more? Also the deficit. Like I don't know what they're doing basically in the true Finns, etc. I think no more 40 must be advising them because they generally are the most lunatics you could imagine. Because the thing is, all this they've cut 9 billion in public services and counting. It's keep going up. I think they're talking about cutting 15 billion in public services, 15 billion euro in public services. They've literally cut everything to the bone. Basically, they couldn't cut much more. Basically, and long story short, the way every year, the way in Ireland too, we have a big surplus. There's a huge extra. Like Ireland gained 37 billion or something like that last year in tax revenue. That was left over, basically. They had nothing to spend it on. It was, surplus in the budget, basically. There was a surplus. We didn't spend the 37 billion right back to the revenue, etc., etc. In Finland at the moment, even though they've cut all this, the bone, I don't know how they're in debt. Like this year, they're not going to make a positive. They're making a negative. They're in 12 billion in debt, 12 point something billion in debt. So I don't know how they've managed to do it, basically, the true Finns and stuff. Like literally they have a negative account this year, the true Finns in the government. 12 billion euro in like negative, basically, instead of surplus. So I don't know how they managed to do it. And the debt has gone up instead of going down. So I don't know how they did it because literally cut everything. Like they're talking about getting with 1,000 nurses and more, So I don't get it. You know, like what's wrong? You know, because I genuinely don't. You know, I'd love to know. Norwegians, but you know, I love to know why. Like, why are they doing this? Basically, but it's the fact of the matter that she literally said it that they would do it. And she was white, as you see. You know, it's actually 990 nurses they're getting rid of. Um, you know, and she was right. Like, she wasn't wrong. Like, she wasn't wrong. She was bang on the money that they would do it. Basically, long story short, it's not busting too. So the government at the moment. So basically, if you turned up to Finland now on a work, like if you get a work-based permit, a residency permit too, after 3 months, you would be sent home. Basically, if you couldn't get a job. So say, for example, you left in the morning now, Sean, for Finland, right? And you didn't get a job, and you won you're entitled to so much money. Obviously, even as a person, as a EU citizen, or if you get a residency permit, you're entitled to a few bob a week. It's 100 and something a week or something like that. Like basically unemployment benefits. If you turned up to Finland and you want a work permit and you couldn't get a job, or take for example, you were on a had a residency permit, you would have three. So after 3 months, what the government are proposing at the moment, after 3 months, if you don't get a job, you would be sent home, basically. Um, so that's what. So obviously, there's everything, like literally this government at the moment in Finland. Um, Anything they do at the moment is meeting huge opposition. Like, I mean, there's huge opposition. You talk about the hate speech bill, like everybody's against it. Like, nobody's with it. The Supreme Court is against it. Everybody's against it. Like, literally, there's nobody forward. Basically, they're going to get it how to pass it basically through the houses of Parliament. Because at the end of the day, the thing they need is the Social Democrats. Like, they need Sanna's party to pass it, because it's in the Finnish constitution that they need 150 votes, and the government don't have the majority. They're only a minority government. So this is not going to happen. It's a good in theory, but I do think it should be 6 months. I do think we should probably bring in something like that here for 6 months. So basically, somebody turns up here, can't get a job after 6 months, goodbye, go home. You know, that's it. Because at the end of the day, no government can pay for someone to be here if they're going to live on the dole for the rest of their life. Like, you take, for example, the guy who stabbed them children outside the school. He was here for 30 years. The government paid him money for 30 years. He never worked a day in his life. That shouldn't have been the case. But I do think 3 months is a bit short. I do think, in my opinion, it should be 6 months. Even though they won't pass it, regardless of what they do, they're not going to be able to get it through the houses, the government. As simple as that, they won't be able to. There's just far too much. Like, the main thing in Finland, they want this government gone. So, you know, and the fact of the matter, they're only talking about this now. They're only talking about doing this now because they're trying to divert people's attention from how bad they fucked up everything else, basically. Because, you know, unemployment, and you ought to know the fun thing is. I get it for in a few minutes. But I do support it in the way, but the fact of the matter, I do think 6 months would be better than 3 months. I know that sounds a bit stupid. But it's the fact of the matter is they never talked about doing this before. They only pulled it out of their ass now when they're in a bit of trouble. Because I get it for you now in a second. Like, the unemployment rate in Finland is the worst in the European Union. In a year, they literally have done it. They've literally done it. Like, I don't know how they've done it, but they've done it. Like, they literally have made it the worst unemployment rate in the European Union. So they went from high employment to very low employment. So I don't know how they did it. You know, like, they generally are breaking records here, how they're doing it, because they're just doing it. Like, no, the True Finns is this thing for time to cut. This Minister of True Finns. Because guess what they've done? They really fucked things over. And this is the next part. So during COVID and stuff like that, there was huge support. Sanna Marin, the government Sanna Marin left. Huge small business. Take, for example, your local coffee shop, your local grocery shop. The small businesses. They were supported very heavily and stuff like that. And obviously that caused a bit of debt, etc. But it wasn't as bad as what it is now. They've actually made it worse than what it was back then. So I don't know how they managed to do it. But long story short, after the COVID lockdowns and stuff like that, 95%, 97, I think it was, percent of the businesses, the small businesses, the local shop and the local pub, were able to reopen because of the support Santa Marin's government gave them. The unfortunate thing is now, all that business, basically, there was such thing as the same in Ireland. There's tax redundancies and stuff. There's tax knocked off businesses, etc., etc. There's different schemes and stuff for the government to give you allowances, etc., etc. So the true Finns have come along in the wisdom and wisdom. It's time to cut. So basically, it's time to cut. The cut all that support for the small businesses. And long story short, what that means is loads of businesses are closing down. So they survived the lockdowns, the COVID lockdowns and stuff because of Santa Marin's government, the what they called, all the support they got from that government. And now after all that, after been time to cut, and obviously the tax increase, etc., etc., it's time to cut. So they cut all the businesses' allowances, etc., etc., to support businesses. So basically, they've cut it, the businesses' allowances, for small businesses, etc., etc. There was a business allowance in Finland. They've cut it by 50% for small businesses. So basically, they're basically getting tuppence now in allowances from the government. So they're completely reliant on people buying stuff. And long story short, a lot of them businesses have closed down, and a lot of people become unemployed. So, it's the second worst in the European Union. So I don't know. I don't know how they managed to do it. Like they've done it. Like they actually have done it. Like they've made it the worst nearly in the European Union. Like they generally have only Spain and Greece as high. It's like literally coming up to Spain and Greece. Like they literally have done it. Like they have literally done it. Like they're making it actually worse. No, it's actually worse in Finland than Spain and Greece. So it's actually worse. So Spain and Greece has more employment. It has more unemployment. So no, I'm wrong in saying that. So Finland's actually getting worse, basically. So it's not going bossing. So I don't know how they managed to do it. So it's the second worst in the European Union. So how they did it, I don't know, because literally they had good, like there was 80% of the population were employed when Santa Marin was a government. So everything's just fucked, basically. I don't know how they did it. Like I generally don't know how they did it. Like how did they get this done within 400 and something days? They've completely fucked everybody over. They're supposed to be for the Finns, etc., etc., the true Finns. And they're fucking over the Finns. Like there's literally businesses. There was one business in some part of Finland that was 50 years open, and it has to close its doors now because they can't afford to pay the staff. They can't afford to live, basically, because of the true Finns, etc., etc. And these people have lived, the 50 years in Finland, and their families from Finland lived in Finland all their life. The grandfather was in Finland. They're all Finnish people, like the native Finnish people, and they have to close their business, shut up shop because of the true Finns. I don't get it, to be totally honest, what they're trying to do, basically, because I generally don't know, because because beforehand, this is the fact of the matter that this wasn't an issue before, but I don't know how they did it now. It's just in mind boggles. No, it's not that. Yeah, compared to Norway and stuff, because I don't know what kind of heads they literally have. Because again, the worst thing about it is, as was said in one article, I don't have it with me now, but the worst thing was when Santa Marin was in government. All the small businesses, the local shop and stuff, like 95% to 97% of them businesses were able to reopen after the lockdown and stuff. Like Ireland was even worse. I'm sure you know. Ireland didn't even do better because a lot of pubs have closed, a lot of restaurants have closed. But imagine that all of them survived. A lot of survived and stuff like that. But yeah, but it's not that bad. A lot of people are working. There's a lot of people working in this country. There's unemployment. Don't get me wrong. From the 56, that's the majority of probably unemployment people that are near retirement age, etc., etc. But as the fact of the matter is, this is the thing: that a lot of businesses have closed. This is the thing. A lot of small shops have closed in Finland, take for example, because of this, because of all the cuts. A lot of businesses have closed, and guess what? Because the economy's on a downhill turn, and shops can't really afford to pay staff to take on staff, etc., etc. So basically, what I'm trying to say, there's no jobs too. That's what I'm trying to say. There's no jobs because nobody wants to employ somebody now because there's no money in it. Basically. There's no, they can't afford to pay people basically because there's no support. The government are fucking them over in every conceivable way. So basically, all the businesses supports for the small businesses are not there anymore. They're just non-existent. Basically, they're just non-existent. So why would you take on loads of staff and pay them? You know, when there's literally no money to be made, basically. Because and then obviously the taxes, they've been overwhelmed by taxes. It's just a complete fucked situation. Basically, I don't know what they're trying to do, but they're just fucking everything. So basically, a lot of people are very. They should have kept this woman around. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. Because they literally have fucked everything up. Basically, I don't know how they did it. Because for the first time in I think in 50 years now in Finland, people actually have to wait to see their doctor for the first time in 50 years because the appointments have that fucked up. Because they're talking, as I say, they're talking about getting rid of nurses and stuff like that. Yeah, Norway owns its own national resources. It does. But all the northern countries are rich countries. Yeah, I like Finland's not that. It's 5 point something million people. It's like all them countries, apart from Sweden. Sweden has a bit more people, but Norway and Finland is the same population as Ireland already. No, but this is the thing. There's not many immigrants there because nobody's going to turn up, especially now with this law passed. They don't remember the law. The border guards can send you away now. So say you're going to seek asylum now in Finland now in the morning, Sean. You turn up to Helsinki airport. The border guards can straight away just turn you around and say, "Get out of here, get away." They have the authority to do that now. They can turn people away if they're seeking asylum. Like they have the strictest border policy in Europe at the moment. That if you turned up now, they can turn you away. They don't have to take you in. Simple as that. So and it's always was strict because they always were very strict. Because again, walking around the streets of Helsinki and stuff, there's not many foreign people, and the only people I seen that were foreign people is the taxi drivers. Majority of taxi drivers were foreign. Majority of people on the street were people either tourists or people from Finland. They wouldn't like in Dublin where it's literally like Mumbai or something like that. It's not like it doesn't look like Ireland and Dublin basically. It looks like some place from India or something like that. It doesn't look like Ireland basically because there's that many people that are not from Ireland that are in Dublin. It's insane, and it's not racing, but just basically pointing out the obvious. That's to put it straight. In Finland, everybody's nearly Finnish, and the majority of people are Finnish. You meet in the shops, etc., etc. So there's not that many foreigners there because nobody wants to go to a cold country. None of these people, especially from India and from Africa and stuff like that, they're not going to go to a fierce cold country. They're not going to do it. And not to even say that they look into who you are before they let you in. But basically, everything's fucked in Finland. Basically, like I don't know how they did it. Like I generally don't know how they did it. But this law that they're trying to pass 3 months, basically. So basically, if you were seeking asylum, Sean, or I would only take, for example, no, not seeking asylum, but if we're going to work permit to Finland, or if we were going to a residency permit to stay in Finland, you have 3 months to get a job, or you'd be kicked out of the country, be sent home. But this is the thing. The only reason why they're bringing this up now, just to say, is because they're trying to defraud people from, everything else is exploding, basically. That's what they're trying to do. Look over here, don't look over there, That's what I'm trying to say. That's what they're trying to do. Because literally everything else is exploding. So they're not wrong in saying that. But the funniest thing is, and this is the stupidest thing imaginable, the thing they haven't cut, and they actually have increased, the businesses supports for businesses. What they guess what they haven't actually have increased. For whatever reason, they've increased it by 40%. The first thing they actually have increased instead of cutting, because it's time to cut. Like I generally take normal 40s over there advising the truth into what to do, because it could. Generally, I don't know how they're doing it. I generally don't. Do you want to guess what they've increased? Like the supports for businesses. Which type of business is supported, basically? Yeah, probably by a bit, but not by much. It was not noticeable in the streets, basically, what I'm trying to say. Like, it's not noticeable at all in Helsinki. It's not noticeable at all. Like, Dublin is very noticeable. In Helsinki, not so much. Especially now, a lot of them are fleeing. They're fleeing Finland. Because the economy's in the toilet, basically. Let's put it that way. So, and especially now with the unemployment is not going great. And to put us perspective too, even just for the only Finn too, like the sickness allowance is basically in the toilet too. People are dying of cancer, the allowance is gone. Um, People are looking for work. Is the what they call social welfare and job seekers and stuff. The money's basically there's nothing. Children's allowance, it's just all gone. And this is just even for the only Finn too. It's absolutely just appalling what they're giving them. Yeah, but there's not that many. No, there's not that many people going in. Because again, you have to remember the Russians are trying to bring in. They have them on the border and stuff, and they do. They have them on the border. They want to bring in loads of Iranians and Iraqs to Finland. They want to try and overwhelm Finland with immigrants, and that's why the Finnish-Russian border is closed. Because they are actively trying to do that. They're trying to destabilize Finland a bit from doing that. Which was a very smart decision to do, like to close the border. Yeah, but this is the thing. With this new law that passed, it doesn't matter. You could turn up with the port. They're going to turn you away. It's simple as that. If they don't want you, they're going to turn you away. This is the thing. The law. Remember the law I was talking about? The past. The border guard can turn you away if you're seeking asylum. They could turn you away. That's as simple as that. So if I was going to seek asylum, they could just turn you away. They don't have to have a reason. They can just turn you away. That's what they passed. That's what Parliament has passed back a month ago. That's the thing. So that's why they passed that too. So anybody that turns up now, they don't have to have a reason. In the way they can appeal it here and stuff, they can't do it. They're just sent home. So that's why they're not attempting. Nobody's winning attempting to go to Finland. So that's what they're doing. So basically, fucked either way, basically. And not to mention, too, you would have to have your passport before you even get allowed in, Because again, even just being in Helsinki that time, the airport, you can tell they're very, very serious about security. Because again, there's border guards literally everywhere. And these are big, tough people. Like you can tell when they've done the military service, etc., etc. Because they are not fat military guards or anything. That they're very tough looking guards. They are very tough looking with big machine guns. The very intimidating. And I'm sure that's the same at the port. Yeah, but no, with that law that passed there, I don't know if you understood that time. Like, what they're trying to say is they're not going to take in many immigrants now. And nobody really would want to go there because the economy is in downfall. Like, let's be honest, the only Finn is not getting tuppence. So, the foreigner's not getting tuppence. Nobody's getting tuppence in Finland, basically, anymore. Everybody's just fucked, basically. So I don't know how they managed to do it. But even before, it was tough enough to get into Finland. Because I often seen a lot of Indians online giving out about how they were denied access into Finland, etc., like to study and stuff like that. So it is a tough enough country to get into. It's not. I don't think it'd be as simple as this country. You can't just turn up. I don't think. But again, as I say, if you were seeking asylum now in the morning in Finland, they could turn you away. They don't need a reason. Over here, we can't do that, unfortunately, because the government won't allow it. And just to say, yeah, they're coming down because they're getting stuff handed them in Finland now. The economy. Why would they be coming to Finland when the economy is in the downhill spiral? And the unemployment, there's no jobs, there's nothing. The social welfare, nobody can get anything, basically. And when they come here, they get everything handed to them, And not even that, they look into who you are before they let you in, I presume. Because security is a big feature. Like the only thing they haven't cut too in the Finnish government. They've cut the police thing too, the victim crime sports and that. And as I see, they're cutting the health service over there too, but they haven't cut the military. The military hasn't been cut. The security services, the intelligence services, the immigration boards and stuff, they haven't been cut. Because again, it's 12 billion or something like that a year they spend on the feds, which is a lot. It's an insane amount for a country to spend 12 billion or something like that, or 13 billion, 14 maybe. I don't know how much of this. It's in the military alone. You know, yeah. But no, with a lot of them were denied. Even when Santa Marin was in government, a lot of them were denied. Like I often seen people on Twitter complaining about it. Like they often tag Santa Marin in it. If you ever look at her old posts when she was prime minister, people would often be saying, "Oh, I was denied access into Finland and stuff. I'm from such and such and such and such and such and such. Can you please help me and stuff like that." So I don't know why they were denied, but obviously they turned up with some criminal record or something like that. When they applied. Like it was always a strict enough country. You can tell by walking around that it always was a strict enough country. Because in Dublin, it's just not. I don't know what Dublin is anymore, but it's not. It's not Ireland anyway. Because it's like some country that's far away from Ireland, basically. But you can tell in how sick it is. Everybody's finished. Like I wouldn't be saying it if it wasn't true. Like the majority of people are finished. The other people you meet, it's majority too. And the only people that be foreigners with is taxi drivers. That's where they are. You might come across the odd fellow working in some shop, but that'll be it. I presume the scene what happened in Sweden were like, we don't want any of this. I have a problem in my country, yeah. I wonder what. It's Jova. Yeah, well, it is literally Jova at the moment. I don't know how they have survived this government because it is generally Jova. Like they basically have signed. They basically are just gone. Hello, Simon. How are you doing? But they're basically gone in the next election. Like it's 100% certain. It's 100% guaranteed. It's going to be back to the old normal, basically, the Social Democratic Party. Like it's basically 100% guaranteed because they couldn't survive. They just couldn't after all this. It's just gone. Like the amount of uproar. You think about the hate speech bill here, the uproar. Like the uproar is something fierce in Finland at the moment. Like only for they banned strikes, because you have to remember too. This government did the Finnish government at the moment banned the will to strike. You can't strike unless the government tells you to. Because beforehand, everybody was going to go on strike. Like every union was up in arms and were going on strike. So basically, all of Finland was going to be locked down, be like the Dublin lockout all over again. But the government forbid strikes. That was great. And the other thing that what they try and do, but again, they probably won't be able to do it because they can't get it passed. They wanted to limit, basically, so the government could say what they deem as an anti-government protest. They wanted to do that. So basically, if you had a protest against the government cutting your sickness allowance, they could send in the police and break it up, basically. What the government here would love to do. But they wanted to do that in Finland because there was that many people who were up and protesting about getting rid of this government. They wanted to do that. But they haven't passed that yet. And they're not going to pass it because there's just far too much opposition to it. So basically, everybody's up in arms about it. Because they're just not helping themselves. Because they did limited strikes. Only for they limited the strikes. When I was there too, I'm sure every union everybody would have been on strike. Because at the time when they did limited strikes, the train unions were going to go on strike, the bus unions were going to go on strike, the nurses were going to go, teachers were going to strike, the parents weren't going to send their children to school. I don't even know if there was that many people going to go on strike. It was insane. Like everybody was planning to go on strike, and then they had to limit it because the whole country would have shut down because there was that many people just upborn about the government. So, like it was pretty bad, and still pretty bad. The people are not very happy because they have achieved something that was unachievable before. The most untrusted government in Finland history, the most but like at the moment, the government support in the Finnish government it's only 30%. To put it in perspective, Sanna Marin's government, take for example, had 70% trust in the public, 70% to 80% trust. And the Finnish government at the moment is only about 20% of the public trust, just to say, because it's measured by public trust over there, not so much support. It's the public's trust in the government. So it's the lowest in literally in Finland's history. The trust in the government to achieve stuff, the government to succeed and stuff like that, because nobody trusts them. That's it, but nobody trusts them to do anything. So when you see that, it's Jova. It's Jova. When you see that, it's gone. And especially the prime minister himself, like the prime minister's there at the moment in Finland, like his ratings are in the toilet. Like they're in the toilet. Like they are generally just gone. They're non-existent compared to Sanna Marin's, which was 75% and higher in some cases, 80%. And now his is barely on 10% or something like that. Like it's only 10 to maybe 5%. Like nobody trusts them to do anything good for anybody. And not to mention the true Finns are just gone. They're just gone. They're just gone. Like they're gone. Because they've lost. They had three EU council seats, like the European Parliament in the last election, the 3 seats in the European Parliament. Now they only have 1 seat. So they completely lost they've lost literally all their photos, basically. What I'm trying to say. The true Finns. So they're going to be demolished in the parliamentary elections. Like they are going to just be demolished. Like they are just generally going to be demolished. Because the worst, and I'm sure Sean and everyone only would cringe when I say this next bit. But literally, people who voted for the true Finns in the general election when Sanna Marin was kicked out voted for the Left Alliance. Like they literally went from, like say for example the Irish Freedom Party here, they went and voted for People Before Profit. They went to jump from the Irish Freedom Party to People Before Profit. Like they literally went hard left. They went literally as hard left as you could go, and they voted for the Left Alliance. Like Lai Anderson's party, like literally Lai Anderson got 250,000 votes. Like it was an anti-government vote basically. Like the Left Alliance got the votes of the 2 coalition parties together. Like it was insane. The 3 of them together, the 3 Left Alliance candidates got the votes of the 2 parties put together, 2 other parties, the Coalition Party, the National Coalition Party, and the True Finns Party. They got the same. Like Lai Anderson got the votes, the whole lot, and put together. So it's insane. Like it just goes to show you how much people are angry with them, because it's not possible. Like it's insane when you think of it too. Like everybody, like just going back to it too, but Lai Anderson too, where he got the 250,000 votes, which is a lot. It's the biggest ever in Finnish. For any candidate in the European elections in Finland to ever get 250,000. No candidate here got it. 250,000 votes. Forced preference votes to get into the European Parliament, etc., etc. It's insane amount of votes. But the only reason why I talk about because I was in Parliament literally the day after the elections and stuff, and there was big talk about it. But I still won't forget too. There was a woman there that she was an usher in the Parliament in Finland, and she literally was nearly brought to tears that Lai Anderson was going to the European Parliament. And I'm not jokingly, like literally nearly brought the tears about it when she was talking to me about it. Literally brought the tears because she was very fond of Lai Anderson. Like literally nearly brought the tears that she was going to the European Parliament. Like, and I literally been nearly brought the tears. I couldn't get over it. Like I still remember, like she literally was very upset that Lai Anderson was going from the Finnish Parliament to the European Parliament. Like literally, so. I think she said it was because she came in the same time as Lai Anderson when she got elected and stuff, and she got to know and stuff like that. That's what she said. Yeah, that's what she said. So she got it. She was when she got the job as an usher because she worked in the European Parliament before. Because she said she worked in Brussels and stuff like that before, and she got in the same time as Lai Anderson when she got in 2015 or so. So that makes sense. Yeah, what she said. So so literally she was literally brought the tears. I presume she's the Left Alliance voter too. So, So, but anyway, it was interesting to be there anyway after that. Because that was the only thing that was fucking. Everybody was talking about in Parliament, and everybody we met was that, because what it meant, and I say this now, it was a huge anti-government vote, like a huge anti-government vote, from going from a far right kind of party, and I suppose I would call it a far right because there's definitely something wrong with them. Basically, there's no, like they're not normal. Basically, people like the True Finns and stuff. There's something very, very wrong with them. To go to the Left Alliance, a leftist party and stuff like that, radical left party, like the Social Democrats, moderately left. Compared to the Left Alliance, which is extreme left because it comes from the old Communist Party of Finland. That's where it originates, the old Communist Party of Finland, the Left Alliance. The old Communist Party of Finland it was disbanded in the 90s. Not confirmed, yeah. Funny enough, there wasn't way in Dáil. I've seen pictures in Dáil and stuff. There's busts of former Taoiseachs and pictures and stuff in Dáil, and I don't know if anybody was ever in Dáil. And I never was in Dáil. I imagine that I went to the Finnish Parliament before I went to Dáil. But there's pictures on the wall of former Taoiseachs in the walls of Dáil. I've seen them before, like on photos and stuff. And imagine there's none in the Finnish Parliament of prime ministers. There's no pictures of prime ministers in the Finnish Parliament. The only thing there's busts of the presidents, like the same as I was in the house of Luke the president's house. I was in there on a tour once. There's busts of the former presidents. Like, for example, it's the same in the Finnish Parliament. There's busts, but there's no pictures or busts of the former prime ministers of Finland. I don't know why that's the case, but there's none. I was going to say we should have a picture of Satna up here. But there is, funny enough, too, I just come and taken back in it. Like there's a picture in the Parliament of the president, Alexander Stubbs, as you say, Aaron Oney. There's a picture of the president in the Parliament, which I don't know is the picture of Michael D. Higgins in the Irish Parliament. I don't think so. Does anybody know that? I don't know. I don't think there is. Because again, the president is the head of state, technically. Because technically, it's the same in Finland too. They get the seal of office from the president. As a government, etc., the former government, etc., etc. Even though in Finland the president has a lot more power than the Irish president. Also, taking back in it, I know I'm taking back in it now, but it's funny there was no second house. There's only one house. The other way, there's two houses, the Oireachtas, the separations of powers. There's the Seanad and the Dáil here, Seanad Éireann and Dáil Éireann. There's only one parliament. There's only one house of the Oireachtas in Finland. There's no two houses. There's not like the Seanad. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as the Senate. There's only the parliament, the Dáil, basically, in Finland. So, which was interesting too. It's interesting to see because in England too they have the House of Commons and the House of Lords. Obviously, the House of Lords you don't get elected to, you're appointed by the monarch, etc., etc. The House of Commons is usually where you get voted in, etc., etc. The same in the United States. You have the House of Representatives, the Congress. There's only one body, basically, in the Finnish Parliament. Just taking back, and it was actually interesting because I remember taking to me. I didn't know before. I thought there was some kind of Senate or something. I remember taking about that when I was in the Finnish Parliament. It was like there's only one. I was thinking they were going to bring me into a small yoke, like the Seanad, for example. But there was no such thing. So I said nothing about it. I was just thinking about it in my head that time when I was there. But anyway, I'm yapping on for now. Let me see. So the main thing the Finnish media at the moment are on about. So imagine there's just outrageous amount of cuts, etc., to everything. And the Finnish media are freaking over this. Like now we're not freaking out, but they kind of have this on the front page of everything and the Finnish media. So obviously it was a festival. I tell you, it was the Flow Festival in Helsinki, and they were freaking out that you know that Santa Mountain is there along with people. Like she's literally really there on her own, basically. Let's put it that way. Um, like just chatting to people, along with people, and basically this is the main news in Finland. Nothing else is the news, basically. So that's basically it. So literally only people just talking to her, basically, in a festival. Nobody with like no gals or anything with them. So it's insane. Um, so you can see that it's crazy thing too. That only people just able to go and talk to. You it's a crazy thing too, because I don't know what former like a former Taoiseach here. I don't know would they let a former Taoiseach, go in on their own and just talk to random, with her friends. I think a few friends were there. But long story, I don't know would they allow that here, to be totally honest. Like say for example, Leo Fracke. I don't know would they allow him, because probably Leo Fracke would probably get the head out of him if he went in anyway. Or Micheál Martin. I don't think nobody would want to talk to them first of all, obviously. But the long story short, everybody knew she was there basically. It was the most recognizable face in Finland. But this is what the media are focusing on at the moment. So, okay. Like that's the main thing the Finnish media are on about, basically. Would you believe? Yeah, I don't know so much about the Wales Parliament. You probably know a bit, but I'm only thinking of like usually every government has two houses of the like Dáil and Seanad everyone. The Finnish Parliament only has the Parliament. There's no Seanad, basically, which I found interesting. Thinking back, and I found it interesting. I presume it's to do with because again, before for a long time in Finland, it was always about even the only MPs, the members of Parliament. Over here, they get 120,000 euro plus expenses. Over there in Finland, it's only 70 to 80,000 a year they get, and they have to literally put down in every conceivable detail their expenses, like literally everything for receipt, and that all goes public in September. Like there's a huge transparency law that every receipt needs to go public from every MP and any member of Parliament. So basically, it's public information. Every September, there's like even Sanna Marin's last year's, how much she made in the Tony Blair Institute and stuff throughout, because it's public information of every citizen in the country, Finland. So take, for example, we lived in Finland now, I could look up your name and where you live. No, we're not where your town where you live, take, for example, and I could find out how much you paid in tax. It's all for transparency, I suppose. It's the same for MPs and stuff like that. It's insane. Like I seen it there when I was there too. Like you can look it up; it's public information. Like any just random citizen of the country in Finland, you can find out how much they own, how much they paid in tax. It's insane. Like it's all for transparency, basically. Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like we have to pay for that. Do you not remember when we had to fork out 5 million to pay for on because the TDs didn't pay their bills, basically. Over there, like I was in the Dáil bar, basically in the Finnish Parliament. It's not too much of a bar. There's no such thing as a bar like alcohol, and it's only tea, coffee, and a few scones and stuff like buns and a bit of cake and stuff like that. There's nothing like alcohol and stuff like that. But it does say like, and I seen it myself because there was a few people walking in and out, and they probably were members of Parliament because there was a few. Like the day I was there was members of Parliament there. Like as I said, I met the speaker. I was there and I talked to the speaker. I could have said a lot more to him because he's from the National Coalition Party, which I have a lot. I could have said a lot more, but you probably shouldn't have. I only said hello to him. Basically, he said welcome to Finland and stuff like that. I probably should have said more. If I went back, I would be saying a lot more to him. That's what I mean. But probably better I don't go back because I end up saying something. Probably getting the true Finns will go mad. But when I was there in the West, what they call it, I don't know, they had a name, but basically we had tea and stuff. I was sitting there because obviously I knew people. The people that I was with were from the Social Democratic Party, and one of them was high up in the finances of the Social Democratic Party. So obviously he works in the Parliament, obviously for the Social Democratic Party. Like he's a high enough member, and obviously the two other people in who were in the Social Democrats too. And obviously I was allowed. That's how I was allowed to sit down, have tea and stuff in the bar because I was with them. And it was a guest too. So pretty much it was a guest of the Social Democratic Party. But what was I trying to say? But yeah, long story short, they had to pay. Like there was no such thing. Oh, you pay later on. And now they would say, oh, pay later on and stuff like that. Even though wink, wink, you never pay. Like you like people I seen that like they say in the thing, no exceptions to finish. You have to pay for it basically. They're not. They don't fuck around basically. There's no such thing as paying later on or stuff like that. You pay down and down. Which I think is better because it's there and probably it's released to the public too how much they spend on stuff. See for the tea and they had a bun and stuff. I didn't have buns when I was in it. I only had a cup of tea. How much was it? I don't know how much it was. I can't remember. But long story short, I don't know. It might have been €7, €8. I don't know, something like that. Because I paid for it. They nearly killed me for paying for it because I paid for the tea and the buns and stuff. But see, in Finland, there's a thing too. People pay for their own tab. So, say for example, it's €8. You pay half, and the other person pays half. The other person pays half. That's the thing. So the separate bills and stuff. So they didn't like me paying for it, but I paid for it. I threw out a €10 note. Yeah, that's what I did. Yeah, it was €10. Yeah, and it was €8 or €7. I can't remember how much it was. Because I remember the woman behind the thing, the woman was walking there I give her said his €10 and stuff. Even a short story. Yeah, I know I keep saying a short story, but no, just thinking back in the now. That's what I'm saying. Thinking back in the now, that's all. I know, short story. How did I get to this? How did I get going on that? I don't know. So when I'm thinking about things, I think out loud and stuff when I'm thinking about it. But long story short, there's no such thing as put it on the tab basically. I don't think because there's no alcohol in it too. So there's just tea and coffee and scones and buns. But yeah, so that's basically it. And that. Give me a moment. A short story. See, I just don't shut up. See, it wouldn't suit them in Finland because I just don't shut up. Because again, the three people I was with there, they were nervous type of people. I'd probably make a video on it just about it. I still have to do a video on it talking about it. But they were nervous. A lot of Finnish people are not very talkative. Unless you talk to them, they won't talk to you. And only for me talking to them many times, they got a bit more open the longer I was there, I suppose. And the more used to talking to me they got, basically. They were more talkative, etc. But when I first met them, they were very shy, I suppose, not that talkative. I was talking away like fuck. Especially when I was in the Finnish Parliament, it was different things on the wall and stuff. I was like, oh yeah, that's the Mannerheim Cross, etc., etc. I was talking to them about it. I was like, yeah, that's the Mannerheim Cross. Different things on the wall. Big discussion about them, etc., etc. They wasn't that used to people having big discussions. That's what I'm trying to say. Like big discussions. They're not really used to, like, they kind of everybody minds their own business and doesn't really talk that much to people. No, there's no tipping. There's no tipping at all in Finland. People get paid, well, not so much now where the true Finns around, but before that, people get paid an insane amount of money when they're walking. It's not such a thing in Finland. It doesn't exist. Maybe now it exists because the true Finns came along. But no, it doesn't. It doesn't happen in Finland. Scandinavia doesn't happen because people get paid a lot. Before the true Finns, when Sanna Marin was in government and stuff like that, there was no such thing. It never was a thing in Finland. There's no such thing as even a tip jar. I was in the Irish pub. I was in a few other Irish pubs. I was in some restaurants. So there's no such thing as a tip. There's no tip even jowl. Like in pubs here, you see tip jowls, etc., etc. No such thing. Doesn't exist. Because people get a high wage. People do get high wages over there. But yeah, in America, obviously, because people get paid low wages and tips make up the majority of things. But no, in Finland, it doesn't exist. But maybe now it would exist because the true Finns came along and fucked everybody over. But no, but when I was there, because things have got worse now since I have left. I should have stayed. Maybe things could have got better. Um, no, but things have kind of just hit the deck now at the moment. As soon as I left, things have just exploded. But no, there was no such thing as such. So yeah, yeah, no, but no, it's not such a thing in Scandinavia. No, see, the thing about Scandinavia, people get paid a lot, they're taxed a lot, etc. But no, it's not. Maybe in Finland now recently, but not when I was there and stuff. It never was a thing. As I say, there wasn't even tip jobs in the places. Like I would have left it here probably in the Irish pub, one of the Irish, but the O'Malley Malone pub in Helsinki. I would have left because it was good service and stuff. But there was no such thing. I looked, really looked. There's no such thing. So I presume, in the majority of places too, there was no such thing. In restaurants, there was no such thing as tips. Like tip jars, there was no such thing. Like in restaurants here, you see it. Like the one I usually go to, Smith's Diner in Drummondley there in Cavan. And you can see as soon as you walk in, the tip jar is right there on the counter. Like over in Finland, nowhere to be found, unless it's in the back corner of some place, but there's nowhere to be found. Yeah. But I was saying earlier on, I think I forgot to tell you. So do you want to know what the True Finns increased the funding of? They increased the funding of 4 companies, people that make 4 coats, etc., etc. They've increased that by 40%, the allowances they give. What they call, not the allowances. What do you call, not allowances, what do you call? I said it earlier on. The support, I suppose, support packages, financial aid, I suppose we call it too. They've increased that by 40% for whatever reason they did it, because they probably have they have a stake in it. Probably it doesn't make any sense what they do. Also, I just read this too, that apparently the protection police, like the protection of the president, etc., in Finland, they've cut that. Of course, why not? So as it says here, the country. So this is only 421 days. So what's going to be like out in another 3 years? This government's doing that. The country's unemployment, the second highest among the European countries. So they've achieved something that never could have been thought of. So a lot of people just don't want to go near Finland. Well, not so much for the racism and stuff, but nobody really wants to go near it because this tyrant. So yeah, they cut the funding for protection police because it's time to cut. Because it's time to cut. But it's a weird fucking system. It's time to cut. That's nice. The West has fallen. The West has fallen. Sorry, I'm just looking something here. The West has fallen. So any other fun with anybody else? Anything else anybody wants to add or add to? Yes, we want to. Dinner waits. Oh no. Let's see. There's one more thing I wanted to show, but I can't remember now what it is. I'll find it. But should be. In fact, Leitrim. Well, no, we get Leitrim to pay for a wall. Sorry, I'm just looking this up now. Just a fact check. Give me a moment. What the fuck am I? Sorry. After this, then we can go for tonight today. Yay, recess for today. Is there anything I'm missing? If there's anything else anybody wants to say now, please don't be afraid to say it. Because there's probably is stuff that I've missed. So please don't be afraid because there's often loads of things to say. Like as Sean said, I've torn a short story into a long story. Pig Gilly. I wouldn't mind if I've literally every time I go looking for something, I can't find it. Yeah, like literally, it's true. It does everything. Like it's always funny because every time I go looking for something, I can never find it. Big Gilly, oh big Gilly, oh Jesus! Oh Jesus! What is this shit? Ooh. No, well, not that I forget what I'm looking. I'm looking for the thing I'm looking for specifically. That's the thing. It's not that I forget what I'm looking for. I know what I'm looking for, but it's not giving me the thing what I'm looking for. That's the worst part of it. I know exactly. I can even picture the thing and everything. But it's the fact of the matter that it doesn't want to show me. If I wasn't looking for it, it'd be there literally in front of me. Like, do you remember that time I was trying to look for? Fiona was asking me about it. Uh, was asking me about people who were taking photos with Santa, etc., etc. And I literally had to scour the face of the earth to try and find the account that literally popped up every day in my recommendations on Twitter. You know, and it took literally an hour, and I'm not even kidding you. Yeah, I should bookmark things. So I often bookmark stuff. Um, I'm walking here. I wouldn't want to like the one place I wouldn't want to go to is New York. It's far too busy. Like imagine a Calvin posting in New York. It's just far too busy. Like the amount of people and the amount of traffic and stuff like that, and far too noisy. Like in Helsinki, I'm not even joking. When I was saying about people being quiet and stuff like that in Finland, and not so much talking. Like literally, you could go down the main street beside the cathedral there, or some of the streets where there's literally only Finnish people, not so much tourists, and literally it's just dead silence. Like I mean, literally dead silence. Like nobody talks to anybody. Like on the plane over to Finland to Helsinki from Dublin, majority of people are Finnish people on the plane. They're probably on holidays here, or coming from America, or whatever. Literally, the only people that was talking was me and my mother. Nobody else opened their mouth. Like literally, husband and wife was sitting across the other side and never uttered a word the whole flight. And I literally mean the whole flight. Never talked words. It's insane. Like it's genuinely insane. They never opened their mouth words to each other for 3 hours. You know, like I'm not even kidding you. Like if you go on the plane to Helsinki, you know what I'm talking about. Like nobody talks. You know. Anyway, I found what I was looking for. So this is a tabloid kind of newspaper in Finland. So I'm literally dying of I talk that much, my throat's dying. But basically, long story short, these newspaper called literally stalk Santa or something just to try and get photos. Well, I don't even know it was a them. It was some random person took photos of them waiting for a taxi. Um, it's quite like I thought this was quite funny. Like the former prime minister literally waiting for a taxi to get shopping and stuff like that. Like you think Bertie Heron is going out doing the fucking shopping. You really think Bertie Heron is going out and getting the groceries. That's what I would. You really think Bertie Heron would do that? Uh, so this photo kind of went viral too. That she literally was out getting the shopping, basically. Uh, you know, like if I was the former prime minister, former Taoiseach of this country, I sit back in my chair, I'd be like this. I'd be like this. I sit there and I get somebody to go out and get it for me. Like, why would a former prime minister bother to go and get their shopping? Like I'd rather just sit here and twiddle my thumbs. If I was a former Taoiseach, like I don't get it. But long story short, this happens all the time. People just see Santa and take photos. And then this newspaper, this genuine people, uh, wrote up a huge article about it. Like they literally wrote up a huge article about this picture alone. Like they wrote a 50-page article on it. It's actually very funny. Like literally the white, like they actually literally just wrote a whole article. Like anything Santa does, they just keep writing. But like they just don't stop. You know. Yeah, we read a calendar. That's what we need. Like they just don't stop writing. Like I mean, Like literally, this crowd, I don't know what to make of them. Like literally, go waiting for an hour about it. Like she waited for a taxi there, and literally wrote up a 50-page article about it. Yeah, but I'm sure the fuck he wouldn't. And again, I'm sure he wouldn't be that bothered to go and do shopping and stuff like that. I'm sure he gets somebody or gets delivered or something like that. Like I'm sure if you were the former prime minister and stuff like, would you be bothered really to go and go shopping and stuff like that? You know, whatever about biking and stuff like that. That's maybe understandable. But would you be bothered to really go around and shop and start shopping and stuff like that? And the fact of the matter, not so much Enda Kenny. Nobody probably would know him now with the beard. I probably wouldn't know him if I met him on the street. Know what Bertie Varen looks like because he's a waffler. You know what a waffle looks like by a mile. You know what Bertie, and then you see the big pouches in his pockets and stuff. The big envelopes coming out of his pocket. Flying out of his pocket. He's after coming he won a load of money in the horses allegedly, of course. You would know straight away. But I don't think they would go shopping. That's what I don't think you see Bertie Howard and them going shopping. And then waiting for a taxi too. Like literally just waiting for a taxi, like an only taxi too. It's insane. And the fact of the matter, this happens all the time to Zana. Like literally anywhere she goes, people notice her. You know. Or was he? I don't know. I can't remember. I don't really remember. Don't remember that much about it. But I presume they wouldn't voluntarily go into places. Oh, the fellow. So this is just news coming in now from the Galway District Court. The fellow that stabbed the priest has refused bail. He will appear in court at the 20th of August. So Tuesday, this Tuesday coming, he's going to be here. So he's in custody. He's in children's custody. He's not in prison. He's in children's custody. They won't name him because he's an underage minor. That's I kind of know what they would say. Yeah, well, you know what I'm saying? That nobody really would want to see them. Like who would want to see Brian Cowan around here? Like nobody would want to see them voluntarily. But yeah. But no, what I'm trying to say, do you think you see them shopping, like buying the groceries in Dunn stores? Yeah, I don't think so. I never met him for Taoiseach in a shop going doing the. What? Excuse me? What is this? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, why would Sana, particularly again, if she's like not so much people wouldn't know Bertie, maybe that better, or maybe Leo or Simon or whatever. Like, not many people would recognize them. Like Sana's literally the most recognizable person in Finland. Like everybody knows who she is. They've seen her face hundreds of millions of times. Like they know who she is, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. So everybody in the shop would know who she is. The people in the cashier would know who she is. Basically, long story short, everybody and their mother probably took a photo with her in the supermarket, basically. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, imagine that you couldn't even shop because people coming up to you every 10 seconds. That's what I'm trying to say. Not so much for Bertie. Like, who would want to fucking take a photo with Bertie? Like, you generally would have to be desperate to take a photo with Bertie. Like I'm not so much the United States, but it's obviously in Ireland, other countries. Very long, yeah, yes, yes. But yeah, breaking news, more breaking news. I know I don't know if this is 100% this translation, but this is the leader of the True Finns, um, the deputy prime minister of Finland. So this is translated from Finnish, obviously. So this is from the official account of the True Finns. The Ministry of Sitters, excuse me. And then like I don't know if this is true, but like this is the whole official account. Like this is the actual minister of the True Finns, the leader of the True Finns. The ministry says will not be important in future, neither will the coffee. You can drink water from the vending machines. Now I don't know. Do I need a fact check on this? But is this literally the white Finnish pronunciation? Because instead of the Ministry of Finance now, it's the Ministry of Sitters. So I don't know what to kind of make of this. No, to be totally honest. Um, uh, I don't really know what to make of this one. No. Like, what the Ministry of Cities, what can you say? And you can drink water from the vending machine. I don't know if this is true. Like, is this right? Can anybody do a fact check? Is any fact checkers? I don't really know if this is true. Like, what you said, and you can drink water from the vending machine. You know, what? Yeah, well, the ministry said like this is literally the truth. And like, imagine saying, "This is the ministry of cities. We're going to make your life miserable." Basically, we're from the true Finns. Before, like it's the same as if it was an Irish party before the Irish people, but we're going to fuck the Irish people over in every conceivable way. It wouldn't be make much difference because the Irish government's always fucked us over, so it'd be just a different name, basically. But you know, the state actually can't be safe. Well, well, this is nice. This is a nice statement from the deputy prime minister. You can see why they're losing the. You can see why people are not very happy with them. You know, because this is the Ministry of Sitters instead of the Ministry of Finance. It's the Ministry of Sitters. What is wrong with this woman? You know, like what is wrong with this woman? Like the Ministry of Sitters. I never heard such a thing in my life. And the fact this is herself saying this, it's not just some random journalist. Like this is literally, as you see here, the chairperson of the True Finns Party, the Minister of Finance, the Deputy Prime Minister, two up here. You know, this is a great way to get votes. You know, just saying, but we come with the Ministry of Sitters, we're going to cut even more. You know, and then when like I'm not offering buns, the future with coffee, you can get water from the vending machine. This is very nice. Like I can't get over this. Like she's generally just digging herself a bigger hole. Like does she really, really want to lose her seat in the next election? Like the arrogance here is up in fierce. Yeah, but there's probably something similar to it because it wouldn't be surprised because it does sound like her because she likes her sitters. Like everything fucking says it's time to cut basically. So she likes her sitters. Is Davey here? We need a fact check. Yeah, well, I don't know. I think they give you anything. It's the fact checkers here. But I presume it's the Ministry of Sitters because she likes her sitters now. Like literally every fucking thing she says is time to cut, basically. Like she never says, "Oh, we're going to do something. It's time to cut." I'm weighing up the fact check. Give me a second. We'll see if my editor's around. He can do a fact check. See, the worst thing about this computer, I can't copy and paste stuff. I have to write, you know. Let me see. I can fact check it. Actually, I use my phone to fact check. So. But I wouldn't be surprised because she's a bit of a lunatic. If you couldn't gather by what I said earlier on. She's not the nicest person. Let's put it this way: I wouldn't meet her if I got £1 million. Yeah. Who the fuck was that? Oh, well, she's not going to take it out now. That's one thing for sure. She's not going to take it out. She's just going to piss everybody off. Like that's what she's basically out to do. Like she's just like she's happy enough cutting everybody to the bone. So I don't think she's going to care about this. Right, we're doing a fact check now. Yeah, as I said, there's definitely something wrong with these true fins. Is this debut? Right. We see if he gets the same result as me. I'm looking it up now. I just sent it to him. Give me a second. Like, I don't know if you're here at the moment, Davey, but I just want to see if you get the same thing as me, just to make sure. Because if so, this is pretty fucked up for a statement. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know. Maybe she's watching the stream. Yeah, pair of sitters. Like literally everything's fucking sitters with her. I'm just saying now. It's this the right translation. But it does seem to, same in Google, it does seem to, but we see if Davey gets a different one. Just to fact check this. We're doing fact check. Where's the mainstream media? That's who we need. They're nowhere to be found. But it does seem to be, because I'm getting the same thing again, so it seems to be right. See, that, and I don't think I ever condone Finnish anyway, because it's a bit too hard of a language. So. But it seems like she's a very pleasant woman, doesn't it? This leader of the True Finns. It's a shame I didn't get to meet her, because I probably would have drove her mad. Do you know what I could have done? I could have literally just got a picture of sitters and just tore it up and put. Yeah, but hopefully the Irish politicians don't get a wind of this. Dave, you must have fell asleep. He literally died of cringe when he seen this. Yeah, well, let's put it this way: the people in the comments are not that impressed by this so-called politician. As a lot of people say, let's cut the MP's salaries. That's what we should do. And did you notice how she doesn't say it's time to cut her own salary? You notice that there's no such thing as cutting my salary and cutting everybody else's. But I'm not cutting. That's the only thing they haven't cut themselves too. They haven't cut their own salary. So it's funny that everybody's in it together apparently. But we're cutting everything else, but we won't cut our own salary. So it doesn't make any sense. But but it does seem to be true from what I'm getting here. So very pleasant. I'm just double checking to see does he get the same as me. Yeah, mosquitoes can be a bit of a shit. We don't take food, we don't have them here. Give me a moment. Is there anything else actually just before we go? I'm just waiting on the fact check. Where's the mainstream media now? Like, where's OT when you want them? When they actually have to do something. It's the same in the treat, you say, David. So it's the exact same. So there's no mispronunciations or anything. That's what I just wanted to find out. I don't know if you're on the stream at the moment here. No, because I got the same. I looked it up on my phone. I got the same. We're just making sure that we all got the same, basically. Just making sure, because it kind of speaks volumes to what I said earlier on. Because so from now on, we're going to call Pascal the finance minister. We're going to call it the Ministry of Sitters. Let's swing up the Ministry of Sitters. So next time I go to Finland, I look for the Ministry of Sitters building. I have to ask them, where's the Ministry of Sitters building? Do you have a Ministry of Sitters? Just start bringing sitters around. Next time we go to Finland, we should all get sitters and just go on the streets with sitters. It's time to cut. You probably get a free pair of sitters when you land in the airport from now on too. It's very nice when you have a person, a finance minister, just like this Ministry of Sitters. You can drink water from the vending machine. It's a very, very nice treat for people literally looking for help from charities and stuff like that. You can fuck off, basically. That's more or less what she's saying. We're not going to help you. Fuck you. So pretty nice. It's very nice stuff. Like I think this woman's a bit not well, to be totally honest. In the nicest possible terms. I think she's not with it a bit. I don't really know what to make of this now. I have to totally honest. Like, imagine an Irish politician putting this up, just for the perspective. The not two people would actually hit the roof, basically. Because already Irish politicians are getting have to turn off the comment because it's that bad. So it's joking. The Western. But anyway, I think we leave it there. Yeah, it's 4:30 in the Irish Republic. Right, are we happy now? Do I make my case about the leader of the True Finns being a lunatic? Uh, but you didn't think? Did you think? Did you really think they were that bad? Before I said, just before I go, everybody here, do you really think the way I was saying it for a long time? Do you think did you really think they were that bad until I showed you all this stuff done? Like, do you remember when Sanders lost, supposedly lost the election, allegedly, of course, lost the election? Because, let's be fair, like, it couldn't have happened because, let's be fair, she said it many times what they were going to do. Like, Santa literally said it 100 times over. Like, she said it, they would destroy the economy. She literally said it. And she's literally like, they're going to fuck up everything. Like, she literally said it. And she's like, they're going to fire nurses, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. And they've done literally everything she said. Like, the only thing they have done is literally proven Santa 100% right in everything she said about them. Like, she literally was right. Like, she wasn't wrong. She literally told the truth about it. It was like, that's the best part of it all. Like, she literally seen it coming, basically. So, the funniest thing ever. 1 second. Anyway, thank you, everyone. Talk to you later, and bye.